You passed the bar exam. Your name now has letters after it. 73% of lawyers report feeling trapped in their careers within 5 years of starting. Nobody mentioned that at graduation. You remember what law school smelled like: old paper, burnt coffee, and that specific feeling of building something that mattered. You carried your casebooks like weapons because you believed they were. You studied past midnight with a comfortable certainty. Effort would be rewarded. Justice existed, and you were going to be part of it. You had friends who texted you on Saturday nights asking if you were coming out. Sometimes you went. Sometimes you stayed in and told yourself you were investing in the future. You had someone who waited for you to finish exam week. You had a mother who framed your diploma before you even graduated. You had a life, small maybe, but completely yours. And you believed the law was going to make that life bigger. The bar results came on a Tuesday morning. You were at work or at home, or sitting in your car in a parking lot somewhere. And when you opened the email, you felt that specific heat that rises from your chest to your throat. Pass. You passed. 5 years of sacrifice, of reading cases you didn't understand, of practice exams, of skipped vacations and missed birthdays, and it was worth it. You called your mother first. She cried. You almost did. Congratulations. You are now a lawyer. Your life is about to get so much harder in ways you have no vocabulary for yet. The first week at the firm, you notice the lighting. Fluorescent. Always on. No windows in the associate offices, or if there are windows, they face another building's brick wall, close enough that you could touch it if the glass opened, which it doesn't. The senior partners have the corner offices with the skyline views. You have a desk with a monitor and a stack of files with someone else's name on the tab. You don't mind? Not yet. You're learning. That's what you tell yourself. Your first assignment is document review. You are going to read 47,000 emails from a corporate dispute that happened 3 years ago and flag anything that might be relevant. It will take 6 weeks. You will flag 11 emails. You will never know if any of them mattered. You will bill the client for every hour you spend doing it at a rate that makes you feel briefly powerful until you realize you see almost none of that money and that the partner who handed you the file spent 4 minutes on it and will take credit for the outcome regardless. Your law school self would have questions. Your week 1 self pushes those questions down and keeps reading. By the 3rd month, you've stopped counting the hours. Not because you've lost track, because counting makes it worse. You know the number. You know that you billed 230 hours last month, which means you worked more than that because not every hour is billable, and the firm doesn't pay you for the hours that don't make them money. You know that some nights you left the office after midnight and were back before 8. You know that your body has started doing something strange, a low-grade tension that lives in your shoulders and doesn't leave, not on weekends, not on the rare vacation day you're too guilty to actually take. Your phone buzzes at 11 p.m. with a partner's name on the screen. You answer. You always answer. Because here's the thing nobody explains about the law. The hierarchy isn't just professional, it's psychological. It rewires you. You start to measure your own worth in response time. A slow reply feels like failure. An unanswered email at 10 p.m. feels like a character flaw. You didn't build this belief. The culture handed it to you on your first day, and you swallowed it without noticing. Your friends from college text you less now. You're harder to reach. You keep saying you'll explain when things slow down. Things don't slow down. Around month 6, something shifts in the mirror. You can't name it exactly. You look the same. Maybe a little thinner. Maybe the circles under your eyes have moved in permanently, but it's something behind the eyes that's different. A flatness, like a light that used to flicker, is now just steady and dim. You've started to understand the unspoken architecture of the firm. Who gets credit and who does the work? Which partners will mentor you and which ones will extract from you until you burn out and leave, and then replace you with the next class of associates who will also believe, for exactly 1 semester, that they are special. You've started to look at the senior associates, the ones 5 years ahead of you, the ones who survived, and you feel something you didn't expect. Not admiration, pity. Because you can see it in them, the resignation, the careful, practiced way they talk about the job as if describing someone else's life, the way they say, "It gets better," without their eyes agreeing. You're suspended between two worlds now, too far gone to go back to who you were before the bar exam, not far enough in to belong to the world the partners inhabit. You're nowhere, and it's the loneliest place you've ever lived. You go to a friend's birthday dinner and someone asks what being a lawyer is actually like. You smile. You say it's challenging but rewarding, and you change the subject. Here's what the numbers say about the life you're living. Lawyers are 3.6 times more likely to suffer from depression than the general population. Not stressed, not overwhelmed, clinically depressed, the kind that has a diagnosis, a medication, a name. You probably know at least one colleague who qualifies right now and has told no one, because in this profession, vulnerability is career risk. Here's what else the numbers say. Substance use disorders affect approximately 21% of licensed attorneys in the United States. 1 in 5. Look around your office. Count heads. The math is not abstract. A 2016 study published by the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation surveyed nearly 13,000 lawyers and found that 46% reported problematic drinking behavior. 46%. Not occasional stress drinking, problematic, clinically problematic. And most of them were functioning, showing up, billing hours, winning cases. The profession doesn't just attract people who are prone to this, it manufactures them. And here's the fact that will sit with you longest. The average attorney's satisfaction with their career drops sharply after year 3 and continues declining through year 10. The people who seem most successful, the ones who made partner, who have the title, who won the cases, report some of the lowest well-being scores in any white-collar profession studied. You wanted to know what winning looks like in the law. Now you know. It looks exactly like losing, but with a bigger office. There's a moment, specific and quiet, when everything clarifies. For you, it might happen on a random Wednesday evening. You're still at your desk. It's past 9. The floor's empty except for you and the hum of the HVAC system and the blue light of your monitor. You're reviewing a contract clause for a client who is a corporation, not a person, an entity, a fiction. And the clause is about indemnification, and the deal is worth millions, and absolutely none of it has anything to do with justice. You became a lawyer because somewhere, under the casebooks and the bar prep and the firm recruitment presentations, there was a belief that the law meant something, that it protected people who needed protecting, that the skills you spent 5 years developing would be pointed at something real. And here you are, pointing them at a contract clause, for a corporation, at 9 p.m., alone. And the thought that hits you isn't anger. It's quieter than that. It's the recognition that the system didn't lie to you. It simply never promised you what you thought it did. The brochure said, "Practice law." It said nothing about what the practice would cost. It said nothing about the version of yourself you'd leave behind in the waiting room on the first day, the version who still believed that effort and justice lived in the same building. They don't. They never did. The law is a service industry dressed in Latin, and the client is rarely who you thought it would be. Some lawyers leave, quietly. They become teachers or consultants, or they open something small, a cafe, a practice, a life that fits inside a weekend. People ask if they miss it. Most of them pause before answering, not because they're deciding whether to be honest, but because they're genuinely trying to figure out if miss is the right word for something that shaped you completely while hollowing you out. Some lawyers stay. They make partner. They get the corner office with the view of the skyline. They hire the next generation of people who believe what they believed in year 1. And in their quieter moments, Thursday evenings, Sunday nights, before Monday comes back, they sit with a specific kind of silence that isn't peace. You will make your own choice. You'll tell yourself it's rational, that you weighed the options, that you know what you're doing. Maybe you do, But here's what nobody tells you about being a lawyer, what no ranking, no career fair, no LinkedIn success story ever says out loud. The law doesn't take your time. It takes your relationship with time. It takes the version of you that knew how to be bored, how to be slow, how to sit in a room without a task. It takes the muscle that lets you exist without being useful. And once that's gone, it's very quiet work to get it back. You don't burn out in the law, you dissolve. Gradually, professionally, with excellent billing records. You passed the bar, you built the career. You wore the suit and learned the language and billed the hours and became, by every external measure, exactly what you set out to be. And somewhere between the first brief and the 1,000th contract clause, the person who wanted to become a lawyer stopped existing, and a lawyer took their place. The damage doesn't arrive in one day. It doesn't arrive at all. It was there, accumulating in every email you answered at midnight, in every Saturday you worked, in every dinner you shortened, in every version of yourself you agreed to postpone until things got better. Things got better. You got the title, you got the office, you just didn't get you.